Hey, Wildcats. Do you have a prediction for a nuclear conquest of the Wildcats in 2026? Speaking of recruiting, let's see how it goes. Subscribe to the channel to receive more news from the Wildcats. The Kentucky Wildcats under Mark Pope are about to enter a new chapter as one of the biggest names in college basketball recruiting. If until now there were doubts about Pope's ability to attract talent outside the borders of the Bluegrass State, those voices seem to be fading in the face of a promising reality. The Wildcats are well positioned to land the first overall recruiting class in 2026, and this is all the makings of a watershed moment in the program's recent history. The prediction is full of optimism and is backed by reputable analysis. CBS Sports, for example, placed Kentucky at the top of its list of candidates for the title of Best Recruiting Class of 2026. Kyle Boone, the publication's senior writer, was emphatic in highlighting the strategic and methodical work of Pope and his coaching staff. The coach has demonstrated an approach that goes beyond the cool name or the hottest player. He and his staff have used detailed analysis to evaluate both the physical form and character of athletes, a distinction that seems to be attracting curious attention from some of the country's top prospects. This meticulous approach, combined with the tradition of excellence surrounding the Kentucky name, has paid off. On UK's radar are names that raise eyebrows even among the most skeptical fans. Tyron Stokes, considered the #1 recruit in the 2026 class, is being heavily courted by the Wildcats. So are Jordan Smith, #2, Cameron Williams, #4, and Caleb Holt, #5. Of the top 10 players in this class, all except Dylan Mingo have already received formal offers from Kentucky. This isn't just a reflection of Pope's aggressive approach to market, but also a clear sign that the program understands the weight of its traditions and uses them as a bargaining chip to attract young talent. Naturally, some still view Pope with suspicion. The narrative that he relies exclusively on local recruits to remain competitive still resonates in certain circles. It's true that the 2025 class brought in 2 5-star Kentucky natives, which raised questions about Pope's ability to attract out-of-state talent. But that perception appears to be about to change. With the 2026 class shaping up to be one of the most sought after in recent years, the coach has the perfect opportunity to silence his critics and prove that his influence transcends geographic boundaries. The fact that Kentucky is well positioned to recruit nearly all of the top names in the 2026 class is a testament to the confidence Pope inspires in players and families. He has shown that he's not just interested in immediate wins, but rather in building a solid foundation for the future. This long-term vision is crucial in a landscape where college teams often fall into the trap of prioritizing the present over the future. In Lexington, however, the balance between present and future appears to be carefully orchestrated. Another interesting point raised by Boone is the program's flexibility regarding the NCAA transfer portal. While other teams may rely excessively on veteran players coming to the portal to make up for recruiting shortcomings, Kentucky appears to be skillfully navigating this terrain. Pope and his staff are clear about when to pursue older talent and when to invest in young high school prospects. This balance is essential to prevent elite recruiting from being compromised by poor tactical choices. But perhaps the most impressive aspect of this recruiting campaign is the way Pope is successfully selling his vision to prospects. He's not just offering a spot on a traditional team. He's offering a chance to be part of something bigger. Pope's pitch builds on the idea that each player has a unique role to play in Kentucky's legacy. It's not just about winning games, but about building stories that will be told for decades. And that, without a doubt, is a compelling argument for any ambitious young athlete. If all goes according to plan, 2026 will be a historic year for the Wildcats. Landing the first overall recruiting class would be a milestone, definitive proof that Mark Pope not only inherited a legendary program, but also knows how to manage it properly. The official star of the college basketball season also brought the weight of expectations to Lexington. Mark Pope faces significant challenges with a completely revamped roster and a narrative that mixes confidence and questioning. The program, accustomed to the pressure of always competing for a title, sees this group as a real opportunity to lift a national trophy again. The conversations taking place on the national stage reinforce this hope. Field of 68 got straight to the point when highlighting the quality of Kentucky's backcourt, naming Jalen Lowe and Otega Owa as one of the most promising pairs of the season. Terrence Oglesby's analysis left no room for doubt. In his view, this duo is talented enough to lead the Wildcats to their long-awaited 9th national title. This opinion gains even more weight when combined with the support of John Fonta, who, while remaining cautious regarding the offensive sector, recognizes the team's solid foundation in defense. This contrast between certainties and doubts is precisely what makes this moment so intriguing for Kentucky. While the front court still carries questions, the defense is already seen as a key element of this team's identity. Pope, who arrived in Lexington with a mission of restoring the program's prominence, finds in Lowe and Owa not only talent, but also the energy and competitive spirit that characterize the great teams in Wildcats history. And it's not just this duo. The roster boasts names that add depth and experience, such as Denzel Aberdeen and Colin Chandler, veteran players who can provide consistency throughout the season. They are joined by Jasper Johnson, a high-caliber youngster who adds dynamism and immediate potential. It's a group that, on paper, blends freshness and maturity, ingredients that, well managed, often make a difference when the schedule gets tight in March. The big question remains at the front. The center rotation will need to provide quick answers for Kentucky to balance its defensive strength with a reliable offensive presence. But it's precisely this combination of certainties in one area and doubts in another that gives the team an air of untapped potential. The season, in this sense, doesn't begin with the predictability of an absolute favorite, but with the promise of continued growth and room for positive surprises. For Pope, this is fertile ground. Building identity, supported by a strong defense and players who embrace competitiveness, could be the surest path toward a team capable of going far in March. And if the front line performs, even if discreetly, talk of a national title won't just be analyst projections, but reality everyone expects. That's the right mindset. Let's move forward. Power forward Anthony Thompson, a 5-star recruit in the 2026 class and rated the 6th best player in the country, according to Rivals Industry ranking, arrives in Lexington to get a closer look at Mark Pope's program. Between Wednesday and Friday, Thompson will have the opportunity to observe preseason practices and experience the environment that historically molds stars and projects talent to the highest levels of basketball. The prospect's presence is not just another routine visit. Thompson is a player who combines elite physical attributes with rare offensive versatility. He is capable of playing the paint in smaller formations, but prefers to explore his skills on the perimeter, being recruited primarily as a small forward. His season in the Adidas 3 SSB circuit drew attention, averaging 22.1 points, 1.237 points per possession, and shooting 38.7% on high-volume three-pointers. His offensive arsenal extends beyond his outside shot, making him a talent capable of creating imbalances in multiple situations. Recent history shows that Kentucky is no stranger to Thompson. He attended Big Blue Madness last year, where he received the program's official offer and also witnessed the Wildcats' victory over the eventual national champion, Florida, in January. This prior connection reinforces the importance of the visit. Pope and his coaching staff, especially Cody Fuger, have invested time and energy in direct contact, maintaining closeness throughout the process. Despite this connection, recruitment is not straightforward. Ohio State, Indiana, and Michigan appear among the main contenders, with North Carolina also in the running. More than that, there's the off-field factor. Thompson is an Adidas-affiliated athlete in the youth circuit, which naturally raises questions about how much influence this aspect might have on his decision. Kentucky, a Nike-affiliated school, recently proved this isn't an insurmountable obstacle by securing the signing of Malachi Moreno, also from Indiana Elite. The question is whether the program can replicate this convincing formula and establish solid ground against the competition. The potential impact of the visit is significant because Thompson represents more than just a high-profile name. He's the type of player who fits perfectly with the philosophy Pope is trying to implement, an agile team that plays in a high rotation and explores multiple offensive options without sacrificing defensive intensity. His ability to play both on the perimeter and in key rotations connects with Pope's vision of building versatile rosters, prepared to face the challenges of March. With a decision expected in October or November, this visit to Lexington takes on the contours of a strategic opportunity. If Pope can convey to the young Ohio native the combination of tradition, individual development plans, and the prospect of competing at a high level from his freshman year, Kentucky could close the gap on its rivals and establish itself as a preferred destination. The future of Anthony Thompson's recruitment is still uncertain, but the present points to a key moment. Kentucky will have a chance to demonstrate, in real time, how its routine works, how Pope manages a squad, and how the Rupp Arena environment can serve as a unique showcase for a promising career. College basketball thrives on important decisions, but can this guy land on this team? Comment below.